Dr. Min Jun Park pressed his hand against the crystalline viewport of the Galactic Council's observation deck, watching distant flashes of light paint the cosmos in brilliant hues of purple and green. Each flash represented thousands of lives caught in yet another border dispute between the Crystal and Meridian fleets. The display would have been beautiful if he didn't know its true cost. Fascinating, isn't it? The voice came from Ambassador Nextol, his scaled features reflecting the distant battle lights. How your species can watch such glorious combat with such dispassion. The ambassador's auxiliary breathing slits fluttered with barely concealed disdain. Min Jun adjusted his formal diplomatic robes, a blend of traditional Korean hanbok elements with modern space-worthy materials. We prefer to observe and understand rather than participate, Ambassador. Our history has taught us the value of patience. The observation deck buzzed with activity as various diplomatic representatives gathered for the emergency session. Min Jun noted how they clustered by their combat affiliations, the Martial Alliance members to one side, the Trade Federation to another, and the handful of neutral species scattered between them. A gentle chime announced another arrival. Sierra Xiomara Rodriguez, Earth's senior ambassador to the Galactic Council, stepped through the particle curtain. Her presence commanded attention, not through intimidation like the Crystal, but through the quiet confidence that had become humanity's diplomatic hallmark. Dr. Park, she greeted him in Spanish, their private signal that something was amiss. The quantum readings from the battle zone are concerning. Before Min Jun could respond, a thunderous blast rocked the observation deck. The battle had escalated, and now a Meridian carrier listed dead in space, its hull breached in multiple locations. The Crystal representatives chittered in approval. 17,000 souls, Min Jun murmured, consulting his neural interface, all broadcasting distress signals. Ambassador Nextol's head crest rose in challenge. Then perhaps your mighty Earth fleet would like to attempt a rescue. Oh, wait. His voice dripped with sarcasm. You don't maintain a combat-capable fleet, do you? Sierra stepped forward, her expression neutral, but her voice carrying the weight of centuries of human diplomatic experience. We maintain exactly what we need, Ambassador. No more, no less. The particle curtain shimmered again as council members began filing in for the emergency session. Min Jun's neural interface highlighted one figure in particular, a Crystal military advisor named Venshar, whose battle record suggested a tendency toward escalation. Dr. Park, Venshar called out, mandibles clicking. I've studied your species' military history. Such potential wasted on peaceful pursuits. Tell me, what makes humanity think they can survive in this galaxy without proper defensive capabilities? Min Jun shared a knowing look with Sierra. If only they could reveal what humanity's satellites had detected during that last battle. The quantum distortions that their instruments recognize all too well. We defend ourselves quite adequately, Min Jun replied carefully. Just not in ways you might expect. The observation deck fell silent as another explosion lit up the viewport. This time, a Crystal destroyer vanished in a sphere of plasma fire. The casualties were mounting, and with them, the invisible danger that only humanity seemed to understand. Sierra's neural interface pinged his with an encrypted message. The readings are off the scale. They're coming. Min Jun watched the battle with growing concern. Every explosion, every lost ship, every burst of weapons fire was feeding something out there in the darkness between stars. Something that had been growing stronger with each passing conflict. The real reason humans stayed away from war wasn't fear or weakness or even moral superiority. It was knowledge, terrible, burdensome knowledge that humanity had carried alone for decades. As the council members took their seats and the emergency session began, Min Jun knew that soon they would all understand. The only question was, would the revelation come too late? Isabella Santos walked through the silent halls of the Secret History Museum, her footsteps echoing against polished obsidian floors 40 stories beneath Mexico City. The facility had been built within an ancient lava tube, its walls reinforced with quantum-locked materials that could withstand even the strongest earthquakes. "Lights, heritage mode," she commanded. The harsh modern illumination faded, replaced by the warm glow of what appeared to be traditional oil lamps. The effect was deliberate, a reminder of how far humanity had come and what they had learned along the way. Her neural interface pinged with an urgent message from Dr. Park at the Galactic Council. "They're escalating. We need the original record." Isabella's hand instinctively went to the pendant around her neck, a simple crystal that served as both key and storage device for humanity's most closely guarded secret. Only 5 people in the solar system knew what really happened during first contact, and 3 of them were in this museum. Accessing Vault 7, she spoke clearly, her voice pattern unlocking the massive doors ahead. Inside, a single stasis pod hummed quietly, preserving not a person, but a moment in time, the exact quantum state of the crash site from 2047. Isabella initiated the holographic replay, and the vault transformed. She found herself standing in the rain-soaked mountains of Peru, where the dying ship had made its final landing. The hologram showed a younger Dr. Elena Martinez, now director of the museum, approaching the wounded alien captain. The alien species name had been lost to time, but their message remained crystal clear. Isabella watched as the translation matrix activated, converting the captain's dying words. "The wars, they're not what you think. The battles attract them. Ancient, hungry, they feed on the energy of conflict. Each war makes them stronger. We learned too late. Our entire sector, gone. Not destroyed, taken." Lightning flashed in the hologram, illuminating the captain's iridescent scales and the strange symbols etched into their battle armor. Elena's younger self knelt beside them, recording every word. Your species, still has a chance. The files, in my ship's core, will show you everything. How they emerge, how they feed, the captain's breathing faltered, how they transform entire civilizations into energy. You must. Isabella paused the playback, having seen this moment hundreds of times. She accessed the next file. The quantum scans taken from the captain's ship. The data had shaped human development for decades, leading to the creation of specialized sensors that could detect the approaching entities. Her neural interface chimed again. This time, it was Elena herself. "Isabella, the council session is about to begin. They need proof." "We can't reveal everything," Isabella replied, her fingers dancing through holographic controls. "Not yet, but maybe." She accessed a specific segment of the quantum record, showing the moment the captain's ship emerged from hyperspace. The readings were identical to what Dr. Park was seeing now at the Galactic Council. The same quantum distortions, the same energy signatures that preceded the arrival of what humanity had codenamed Star Dancers. Isabella packaged the data, careful to edit out anything that might reveal Earth's true level of technological advancement. The world wasn't ready to know that the crashed ship had contained more than warnings. It had given humanity the keys to understanding space-time itself. She glanced at the far corner of the vault, where a sealed container held the ship's core processor. Its alien technology still functioned, running simulations that had helped humanity develop their unique approach to space travel and defense. "Sending the comparison data now," she informed Elena. "But there's something else." Isabella enhanced a particular reading from the current battle. "The signature is stronger than anything in our records. Whatever's coming, it's bigger than what the captain warned us about." As she secured the vault, Isabella caught her reflection in the obsidian walls. Sometimes she wondered if humanity had made the right choice, keeping such vital information secret from the galaxy. But as another alert showed the battle intensifying in distant space, she knew they'd chosen correctly. The galaxy wasn't ready for the truth. Not yet. But soon, they wouldn't have a choice. Dr. Carlos Chen floated in the observation bubble of Research Station Magellan, his eyes fixed on the sophisticated quantum imaging array that transformed invisible phenomena into visible light. The latest battle between the Crystal and Meridian fleets had left something beautiful and terrifying in its wake. Ribbons of quantum energy that twisted through space like auroras. Recording sequence Delta 9, he spoke into his research log. The aurora effect has increased by 37% since the last engagement. Energy signature is becoming more coherent. His quantum scanner beeped urgently. Something was different this time. The auroras weren't dissipating as they usually did. Instead, they were forming patterns, complex geometric shapes that defied natural formation. Dr. Chen, the station's AI announced, priority message from Luna Observatory. A holographic window materialized beside him, showing Dr. Mei Zhang's concerned face. Carlos, are you seeing this? The patterns, they're matching the configurations from the Peru incident. Carlos felt his heart rate spike. Everyone in their classified research group knew what the Peru incident meant. The first documented evidence of the Star Dancer's existence. Sending you my live feed now. The energy density is off the charts. He manipulated the controls, zooming in on a particular section of space where the quantum auroras seemed to be concentrating. The colors shifted from blues and greens to deep purples and colors human eyes had never evolved to see. There's something else, May continued, her voice tense. The gravity sensors are picking up. Well, look for yourself. New data scrolled across his display. Microsingularities were forming within the aurora patterns. Dozens of them, each lasting just milliseconds before collapsing. But in those brief moments, they were receiving signals. Information was flowing through them from somewhere else. They're not just feeding on the energy, Carlos realized, his fingers flying over the holographic controls. They're using it to build something. These aren't random formations, they're components. He queued up a three-dimensional model of the aurora patterns over the last 12 hours. When viewed in sequence, the geometric shapes weren't separate events. They were construction stages of a larger structure, one that stretched across dimensions human instruments could barely detect. The observation bubble's windows automatically dimmed as a massive energy surge lit up space. Another skirmish had broken out, this time involving a Meridian patrol and a crystal raiding party. Their weapons fire created new ripples in the quantum field. Carlos, May's voice was urgent now. The Star Dancers, they're responding to the new energy signatures, but there's something different about their behavior pattern. He saw it too. The entities they called Star Dancers weren't just absorbing the energy from the battles anymore. They were actively moving through the quantum auroras, using them like pathways between stars. It's a network, he breathed, the realization hitting him. All these years, we thought they were just feeding on the energy of conflicts. But they're building a transport system between dimensions. His neural interface pinged with an incoming transmission from the Secret History Museum. Isabella Santos' face appeared in a new window, her expression grave. Dr. Chen were detecting quantum signatures matching the ones from the captain's ship. But the scale, it's exponentially larger. Carlos overlaid the historical data with his current readings. The correlation was undeniable. They're not just getting stronger, he said quietly. They're getting ready for something. A new alert flashed across his screens. The Crystal and Meridian weapons fire had just created the largest quantum aurora ever recorded, and within its swirling patterns, something was taking shape. Something massive. Send everything to Dr. Park at the council, he ordered, his voice steady despite his racing heart. They need to stop the fighting now, or what's coming through won't be just Star Dancers. It'll be whatever they've been building out there in the dark. As he watched, the quantum auroras began to pulse in perfect synchronization, like the heartbeat of something vast and ancient. And in their depths, shadows were beginning to dance. Admiral Liu Shitang stood on the bridge of the Earth defense vessel Pacifica, watching as the Crystal battle group approached Luna's orbit. Their ships moved with predatory grace, weapon ports already cycling open. Behind her, the orbital defense team worked with practiced calm, their fingers dancing over holographic controls. They're testing us, her second-in-command, Commander Ryu, observed quietly. pushing to see if the rumors of our weakness are true. Lucia allowed herself a small smile. Then let's show them something unexpected. Deploy the Star Silk. The order rippled through the command network. Throughout Luna's orbital space, hundreds of seemingly decorative satellites began unfurling gossamer-thin strands of quantum-engineered material. To the naked eye, they resembled delicate spider webs spun from starlight. Crystal vessels entering optimal range, the tactical officer reported. Their weapons are hot. Energy signatures suggest they're planning a demonstration strike. Let them come, Lucia said, her calm masking the complex calculations running through her neural interface. The Star Silk defense system had never been tested against crystal weapons. Today would provide valuable data, assuming it worked as designed. The lead crystal ship fired its energy weapons, unleashing a devastating barrage toward Luna's largest colony dome. The attacks never reached their target. As they struck the Star Silk, something extraordinary happened. The energy weapons didn't explode against shields or dissipate harmlessly into space. Instead, they were caught in the quantum-engineered strands. Their destructive power transformed into rippling waves of light that danced through the silk like lightning in clouds. Energy absorption at 97%, Commander Ree reported, genuine awe in his voice. The silk is converting the weapon signatures into harmless quantum states. The crystal ships paused, clearly confused by this unprecedented defense. Their second volley was more powerful, designed to overwhelm whatever shields they thought they were facing. The result was even more spectacular. The Star Silk lit up like a festival of lanterns, each strand conducting the transformed energy in patterns that mirrored ancient Chinese art. It wasn't just effective, it was beautiful. Admiral, her communications officer interrupted, we're receiving a priority message from Dr. Chen at Research Station Magellan. Lucia's expression tightened. She'd been briefed about the Star Dancers. Put it through to my neural interface. The data stream was alarming. The quantum auroras from the recent battles were reaching critical density, and now the crystal were adding more energy to the system. If their attacks continued, new approach, she commanded. Activate the harmonic resonators. Let's show them why we chose beauty over destruction. Hidden emitters throughout the Star Silk network powered up. The transformed energy from the crystal weapons began flowing through the strands in precise patterns, creating a symphony of light and quantum resonance that extended far into space. The effect on the attacking ships was immediate. Their sensors, designed to detect conventional weapons and defenses, were overwhelmed by the complex quantum harmonics. The entire battle group froze, their systems temporarily mesmerized by patterns they couldn't comprehend. They're receiving our message, Commander Ree noted, checking the quantum readings. The harmonics are matching their ship's neural interfaces. Showing them what we see, Lucia finished. Through the Star Silk, they were transmitting the sensor data about the quantum auroras, the evidence of the Star Dancers, and most importantly, the beauty of defensive innovation. The crystal ships began powering down their weapons. On her neural display, Lucia watched their communication channels light up with confused chatter. They had come expecting to find weakness, only to encounter something that challenged their entire understanding of power. Admiral, her tactical officer called out. Dr. Chen is reporting unusual quantum fluctuations in the converted energy patterns. The Star Dancers, they're responding to our defense network. Lucia studied the data with growing concern. The Star Silk wasn't just defending Luna, it was communicating with something out there in the quantum auroras, something that recognized its patterns. Send word to Earth Defense Command, she ordered. Tell them the Star Dancers aren't just watching anymore. They're learning. Miguel Sato adjusted the neural resonance scanners in the Dream Interpretation Center beneath Mount Fuji, his hand steady despite the weight of what he was seeing. The quantum-enhanced dream patterns of 1,000 different species flowed across his displays, all showing the same haunting images, vast shapes moving through stars, ancient geometries that shouldn't exist, and overwhelming sensations of loss. recording delta wave sequence. He spoke into his research log. Multiple species experiencing identical dream patterns across different star systems. Timeline correlates with recent crystal encounters near Luna. His colleague, Dr. Sarah Patel, monitored the quantum entanglement readings from the adjacent station. The signal strength is increasing. Whatever's trying to communicate, it's getting clearer. Miguel focused on a particularly strong dream pattern coming from a Meridian sleep study volunteer. The alien's neural architecture was completely different from human standard, yet the dream imagery matched perfectly with what they were receiving from dozens of other species. Play it through the quantum interpreter, he instructed. The dream sequence resolved into a three-dimensional projection floating above their workstation. Stars wheeled and danced, forming impossible patterns. Then came the shadows, vast beings moving between the light, their forms suggesting geometries that hurt to look at. But it was the next part that sent chills down Miguel's spine. There, Sarah pointed. That's not just random imagery. Those are coordinates. She was right. Hidden within the dream patterns were precise astronomical locations, each one corresponding to a site where an ancient civilization had mysteriously vanished. The star dancers weren't just communicating, they were showing their work. Miguel's neural interface pinged with an urgent message from Admiral Tang. The Star Silk Defense Network had picked up unusual quantum resonances during the crystal encounter. He overlaid those patterns with the dream sequences. Perfect match, he breathed. The Star Dancers recognized the Star Silk's quantum harmonics. They're trying to synchronize with it. Sarah pulled up historical data from the Secret History Museum. Look at this, the captain's ship had similar harmonic patterns in its core processor. What if they weren't warnings? What if they were attempts at communication? A new dream sequence caught Miguel's attention. This one was different, sharper, more urgent. The imagery showed vast networks of quantum energy spanning between stars, like the auroras Dr. Chen had observed, but on a galactic scale. They're not just building networks, Miguel realized. They're trying to restore something that existed before. His words were cut off by a sudden surge in neural activity across all monitoring stations. Every sleeping volunteer, regardless of species, was now sharing the same dream. The quantum interpreter struggled to process the incoming data. Converting to visual, Sarah announced, her fingers flying over the controls. The resulting image made them both step back in awe. It showed the galaxy as it existed millions of years ago, crisscrossed with delicate quantum filaments that connected every star system. The Star Dancers moved along these pathways, not as predators, but as caretakers. Then came the wars, countless conflicts that damaged the ancient network, forcing the Star Dancers to salvage what energy they could from the destruction. The civilizations that vanished, Miguel said slowly, they weren't taken. They were evacuated. The Star Dancers were protecting them from the collapse of their own quantum networks. Sarah's station chimed with an alert from Research Station Magellan. The current aurora patterns, they're not just similar to the ancient network. They're exactly the same. The Star Dancers aren't building something new. They're rebuilding something old, Miguel finished. And they recognized the Star Silk because it uses the same principles as their original network. We accidentally recreated their technology. His neural interface lit up with urgent messages from the Galactic Council, the Secret History Museum, and Earth Defense Command. Everyone was seeing it now, the pattern hidden in plain sight. The dreams weren't warnings. They were an invitation. The only question was, what would happen when the network was complete? Captain Ana Ming Ramirez stood at the helm of the Pacific Guardian, watching as her rescue fleet emerged from quantum concealment. 5,000 ships, each one built not for war, but for salvation, their hulls gleaming with the same quantum-engineered material as the Star Silk defense system. All ships reporting ready, her first officer, Lieutenant Chen Wei, announced. Quantum harmonics synchronized across the fleet. Before them, the largest space battle in galactic history was unfolding. The Crystal and Meridian forces had drawn in their allies, turning a border dispute into a catastrophic free-for-all. The quantum auroras were reaching critical density. Launch the Guardian pods, Anna commanded. Priority to civilian populations in the conflict zone. Across the fleet, thousands of rescue pods detached from their motherships. Each one was equipped with Star Silk technology, making them virtually invisible to both conventional sensors and the approaching star dancers. Captain, Lieutenant Wee called out, "We're receiving distress signals from both Crystal and Meridian colonies in the affected sectors. Their quantum sensors are detecting something massive approaching through the auroras." Anna's neural interface connected with the fleet's shared consciousness, allowing her to coordinate the rescue operation with unprecedented precision. The pods moved like schools of fish through the chaos of battle, their star silk shells transforming incoming weapons fire into harmless light shows. Message from Dr. Sato at the Dream Center, her communications officer reported. The shared dream patterns are intensifying. The star dancers, they're recognizing our rescue attempts. On her quantum display, Anna watched as the ancient beings began emerging from the auroras. They were enormous, their forms shifting between dimensions in ways that defied conventional physics. But unlike previous encounters, they weren't moving toward the battle energy. They were following the rescue pods. "They're helping us," Lieutenant Wee said in disbelief. A star dancer had just redirected a massive piece of battle debris away from a pod full of crystal civilians. Another was using its quantum manipulation abilities to stabilize a collapsed jump point, allowing more ships to escape. "Captain," her sensor officer's voice was tense, "the quantum network is reaching critical alignment. Dr. Chen's predictions were right. It's not just about energy absorption anymore." Anna watched as the ancient quantum filaments began manifesting in real space, visible to everyone now. The Star Dancers were using the battle's energy to restore the galaxy's original transportation system. Incoming transmission from the Crystal flagship, her communications officer announced. They're requesting assistance with evacuation." A small smile crossed Anna's face. "Send them our coordinates. All ships prepare for maximum capacity operations. No one gets left behind." The Pacific Guardian's hangar bays opened, revealing vast spaces designed specifically for this moment. As refugee ships began docking, Anna received a priority message from Admiral Tang. "The Star Silk Network is resonating with the ancient quantum filaments," the Admiral reported. "We're picking up signals, coordinates. They're showing us safe zones outside the network's reconstruction area." Anna nodded, understanding at last. They're not attacking or defending. They're renovating, and they're helping us get everyone out of the construction zone. Through her neural interface, she watched as the rescue operation expanded. Human ships worked alongside the Star Dancers, using their complementary technologies to save as many lives as possible. The beings they had feared for so long were revealing their true nature, not as destroyers or conquerors, but as engineers of something far grander than war. All sectors reporting successful evacuations, Lieutenant Wee announced proudly. "The Star Dancers they're actually guiding civilian ships to our rescue zones." Anna looked out at the quantum auroras, now pulsing with purposeful patterns. The galaxy was about to change forever, but thanks to humanity's preparation and understanding, it wouldn't come at the cost of lives. "Send word to Earth Defense Command," she ordered. "Tell them Operation Safe Haven is proceeding as planned. The galaxy's oldest architects have returned, and they recognize us as allies." Dr. Jin Patel moved through Research Station Magellan's quantum physics lab, surrounded by holographic displays showing the most extraordinary data ever recorded. The Star Dancers' quantum signatures were now visible across every spectrum, their true nature finally revealed through the combined findings of humanity's greatest scientific minds. Cross-referencing historical data with current readings, his research partner, Dr. Elena Chen, announced. "The correlation is beyond doubt. The ancient quantum network wasn't just for transportation, it was a living system." Chen studied the complex patterns flowing across his screens. The quantum auroras had transformed into something far more organized, their structure matching exactly with the designs found in the crashed ship's core processor. Message from Captain Ramirez Alinas said, "The rescue fleet's star soap technology is actually communicating with the network. It's like we accidentally created cells that match the galaxy's original quantum biology." A holographic representation of the Milky Way materialized in the center of the lab, showing the spreading network of quantum filaments. The star dancers moved through these pathways like antibodies through a bloodstream, repairing damaged sections and strengthening others. Dr. Patel, the station's AI, announced, "Priority link from the Secret History Museum. Ms. Santos is transmitting new data from the captain's ship." The holographic display split, showing Isabella's face alongside streams of decoded alien text. "The ship's core wasn't just giving us warnings," she explained. "It was providing instructions, a blueprint for helping restore the network. We've had it all along but didn't understand what we were seeing." Jin's fingers flew over the quantum interface, combining the historical data with their current readings. The star dancers aren't separate entities, he realized. They're extensions of the network itself, like immune cells responding to damage caused by warfare, Elena finished. Every battle tears the quantum fabric, forces the network to evolve new ways to repair itself. That's why they appeared during conflicts. They're the galaxy's natural healing response. The lab erupted with new alerts as sensors detected massive quantum shifts throughout the region. The star dancers were no longer simply repairing. They were actively rebuilding, using the converted energy from the recent battles to restore sections of the network that had been dormant for millions of years. Incoming data from Miguel at the Dream Center, Elena reported. The shared dreams, they weren't just communications. They were memory fragments from the network itself, showing us its original state. Jin watched in awe as the holographic galaxy display updated in real time. The quantum filaments were forming complex geometric patterns, creating stable bridges between stars that defied traditional physics. "The Star Silk Defense System," he said slowly, "we didn't just copy their technology. We recreated a vital component of the original network. That's why they recognized it, why they're working with our rescue fleet." His neural interface pinged with urgent messages from scientific facilities across Earth. Everyone was seeing it now, the true scope of what humanity had stumbled upon. Dr. Patel, the station's AI, interrupted. "The quantum harmonics from the network are forming new patterns. They appear to be instructions." The holographic display shifted, showing a complete blueprint for integrating human technology with the ancient system. The Star Dancers weren't just accepting human help, they were offering to teach us. "Send word to Earth Defense Command," Jin ordered. "Tell them we're not just witnesses anymore. We're being invited to become part of the network's immune system. Our rescue fleet, our star soak technology. It's exactly what the galaxy's been waiting for." Elena's expression was one of wonder as new data poured in. "The disappeared civilizations," she said softly, "they weren't taken. They evolved. The network helped them transcend physical form entirely." Jin studied the quantum readings with growing understanding. Humanity's path was finally clear, not as warriors, not as passive observers, but as healers for the living galaxy itself. Dr. Rosa Nakamura stood before the assembled Galactic Council, her heart steady despite the weight of the moment. Behind her, a wall-sized quantum display showed the spreading network of restored quantum filaments, glowing with possibilities that had been lost to time. "The Harmony Project isn't just about peace," she explained, her voice carrying through the chamber. "It's about understanding our place in a living galaxy. The Star Dancers showed us that conflict was never the answer. Connection was." The chamber hummed with translated whispers as representatives from every spacefaring species processed the revelation. The Crystal Ambassador, who had once mocked humanity's peaceful stance, now leaned forward with undisguised interest. "Our star silk technology," Rosa continued, gesturing to the display, "was just the beginning. By studying the quantum harmonics of the ancient network, we've discovered ways to generate sustainable energy through cooperative resonance. Every species, every world can contribute to and benefit from the network's restoration. The display shifted, showing the successful integration of human rescue ships with Star Dancer protocols. The Pacific Guardian led a fleet of vessels from multiple species, all working together to stabilize newly activated quantum pathways. Message from Dr. Patel, her neural interface whispered. The network's recognition patterns are spreading. More Star Dancers are emerging to assist with the integration. Rosa nodded slightly, then addressed the council again. The civilizations we thought were lost weren't destroyed or taken. They chose to evolve, to become part of something greater. The network offers that same choice to all of us, not through conflict, but through harmony. The quantum display erupted with new data as the Star Dancers initiated another phase of restoration. The ancient filaments pulsed with colors that existed beyond normal spacetime, creating pathways that connected not just stars, but dimensions. Humanity didn't avoid war because we were weak, she said, her voice strong with conviction. We avoided it because we understood its true cost. Every battle damaged the living network that our ancestors once helped maintain. But now we have a chance to restore what was lost. The council chamber's quantum sensors detected multiple Star Dancers approaching. Instead of fear, the assembled representatives watched in awe as the beings manifested partially in normal space, their forms suggesting geometries that celebrated life rather than destruction. The Harmony Project proposes a new path forward, Rosa continued. Using adapted star silk technology, we can create stable energy exchange points throughout the galaxy. Each point will strengthen the network, allow for instantaneous travel, and open communications channels we never dreamed possible. She touched her console, and the display showed the first successful test. A star silk array, combined with technology from 5 different species, generated a sustainable quantum resonance that the Star Dancers could use to restore massive sections of the network. We stand at a crossroads, Rosa said softly. We can cling to our divisions, our conflicts, our limited understanding of power. Or we can embrace something far greater, the chance to be part of the galaxy's own immune system, helping to heal ancient wounds and build new connections. The council chamber fell silent as the Star Dancers moved closer, their presence felt by every being present. Through the quantum network, emotions and impressions flowed freely. Hope, wonder, and the deep satisfaction of finally understanding a truth too large for any one species to grasp alone. Earth extends an invitation to all species. Rosa concluded, join us in the Harmony Project. Let us turn our military minds to rescue, our battle fleets to restoration, and our combined energy to rebuilding the living galaxy we all share. One by one, the council representatives stood. The Crixtal were first, followed by the Meridians, then every other species present. They had all seen the truth through the Star Dancer's eyes. The real reason humans stayed away from war wasn't fear or weakness. It was wisdom. And now, that wisdom would light the way forward, one quantum thread at a time, in an eternal dance of creation rather than destruction.